Ned said that all the good motovloggers do helmet setup videos. So, alright, I guess there's no end to the nonsense Ned's gonna put me through to be part of the motovlogging community. Whatever. Here's your helmet setup video. So I went over to Ned's house one day and he was about to epoxy a bunch of stuff up onto the helmet to try to get it set up for motovlogging. And this is actually my helmet. Most of the stuff I have is Ned's stuff. This is my helmet. So I kind of freaked out. I was like, man, what are you doing? Like putting glue on my helmet and stuff. And turns out he'd been watching videos from that accidental Hawaiian feller, and he had a pretty good setup. But a couple issues I had with it was, well, one, it permanently altered the helmet and the camera, and two, it had some single points of failure. So I told Ned to step away from the glue and let me take a crack at doing this. Ned said he really likes it, and he calls it pragmatic engineering. So let me show you all what I did, and maybe it can help some of you. Now, first of all, if you do glue something up here, this is a rubber piece that you got to cut out. And that's one of the ways you got to permanently alter this helmet. And then, of course, you got epoxy up there too, which I ain't crazy about. And the other thing Ned was going to do is he was going to glue a magnet onto the camera, which permanently alters the camera. And then when that's all done, if the glue fails there on the helmet for the piece of metal that's there, or the glue fails on the magnet, then you lose the camera. So what I did was I went to Home Depot and I got one of these from the lumber department. It's a bracket for decking. It's an A21. And I put some Dual-Lock on there. Dual-Lock's kind of like velcro but stronger. And then I painted it with Plastidip just to camouflage it a little bit. And then that's how I got something for a magnet to stick onto. Then I just needed to get a magnet on this camera that wasn't going to require me to put glue on the camera. So what I did was I took one of these. This is just a little $10 GoPro frame. And I cut the tabs off and I put magnets on it and put the camera in there. So this is how that ended up. I'll put that in there. Well, there you go. Then you just got to put in a microphone. You got to do the dango dongle. And there you go. You are ready to motovlog. And let's talk about the microphone. So for the microphone, I use the Audio-Technica 3350, like most motovloggers. And the one thing I don't like about this is it's powered. I mean, it works really good, but if the battery dies, you don't know. And if you forget to turn it on, you don't know. If you forget to turn it off, you don't know. So what I do is whenever I turn it on, like that, I take this little piece of red Velcro and I put it there. And that's my indicator. And then when I turn it off, do the opposite, of course. There you go. And then, before I go out every time, I check the battery. I got one of these little $6 things to check batteries. And if my battery's low, I put in a new battery. Don't gotta worry about that. The other thing that sucks about that microphone is it comes with this much excess wire. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, I cut it down, soldered it back together, and then heat shrinked it. And if you've never soldered before, you might not want to try that because these wires are really tiny. I mean, that's actually wire inside there. So you gotta strip off the black part, strip off the white part, solder it all together, shorter, and then put heat shrink over it to keep these separate and shrink it back down. I mean, basically you gotta be a vascular surgeon to pull this off the first time. It took me 2 tries. And finally we got how the microphone goes inside there. So I run it through here, down there. There's the power unit. Comes in here, and I run it up into here, around the back, and there's a snap for the cheek pad there, and I wrap the wire around there, and then I have the microphone actually pointing up in there, and I have a little cover, a little noise cover for it underneath that tape. I wonder, can we see? There it is. I got a little noise cover there. That was like I think 5 for $10 or something pretty cheap. Put links for that down there too. And that did a good job of deadening the sound. And then put the duct tape over it, which is a tip we got from that accidental Hawaiian feller in one of his setup videos. So that's how my audio is set up. I did have the microphone down here, and then I noticed when I was dual vlogging with CDS feller that I was a lot quieter than he was. That's not because this is a bad position, it's just because he's a loudmouth. So I put the microphone back up here, and this is actually really right in front of my mouth right there. So let's see, what else? The last thing we need to do is to protect that lens. And what we did there was we got one of these. This is an official GoPro lens protector. But there, I get the official one too because this needs to fit perfectly, and I'm guessing the aftermarket ones may not. The case though, that's aftermarket, and that does fit perfectly. So I'll put links to all that stuff down there. And this right here is the last thing I did, because sometimes I get stuck in the rain, and I originally thought, you know, I'll just take the camera off and put it in a bag if it starts raining, but sometimes when I was motovlogging with other friends, I wouldn't want to stop motovlogging, so I had to make a waterproof setup. So I made this same kind of setup. It's waterproof. It also has an official GoPro bracket on top, so if you want to do a top mount camera, you can do that. It's a little bit heavier, so I don't like using it all the time, but if I need something that's a little bit more waterproof, like it's a muddy day, then I can do this. It attaches the same way as that. There you go. Get the idea? So there you go. Anyways, then we got the Cena for dual vlogging. Don't need to say much about that. It's a Cena. It's awesome. Just works. Check them out. And there you go. That there is the Hermit vlog helmet setup. So that there's my helmet setup. I hope that's helpful to somebody. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Over and out.